Madlozi yakhuluma nawe idlozi liyavuma ungulu babu Takazani Dumelangi Sedi. Hello everyone and welcome to the 101 sessions with Gogo Musore, and I'm your host Gogo Am, giving you guys tips, lessons and teachings on everything spirituality. Okay, so today I want to talk about a very interesting spirit that a lot of people don't really talk about, which is called the Manono or Manono or Inono spirit. Ne? So yeah, it depends on your culture, then it will be named under either one of those ones, like Manono or Manono or Inono. So the Manono spirit is actually a spirit of a child who's passed away at an early age. Okay, so this is a child who's passed away at an early age, maybe a child who passed away as a toddler, or a child who passed away via miscarriage, or a child that passed away via abortion. So what happens is that this child becomes an ancestor in a sense. When this child becomes an ancestor, is the same way as when you and I pass away. When our time comes and we leave this earth, we leave this world, we will actually be ancestors, we'll actually be guardian angels for the people that we leave behind, or for the children that are left behind in the family. So the same applies to the spirit of this child. But most of the time, this spirit, it affects, or rather it is attached to the parents, meaning the mother and the father of this particular child is the one that this child is actually attached to. They are the ones that will actually get messages from this child and whatnot. And the reason why some of these spirits, like spirits of children, become ancestors or become idlozi is because of the fact that some children already had their spiritual gift. Because understand that with a spiritual gift, you're born with it. Okay, from the minute your embryo is there, then if you are supposed to have a spiritual gift, then you're already given that spiritual gift. It only depends on when the ancestors want you to appease them, or when you're supposed to be a sangoma. That is when your initiation process starts. But throughout your entire life, you had this particular gift. So the same applies with this particular child, whether they were born or not. They already had their spiritual gifts. Hence, that is why they tend to become idlozi once they pass away. And they become idlozi. You as a parent, or you as a person who is attached to this particular child, is actually going to sort of like help this child reach their purpose. Meaning, if this child was supposed to be a healer, or who works with people full time and saves lives and whatnot, once this child becomes your idlozi, then certain things that this child was supposed to do when they were like alive and whatnot, you'll actually be doing those things for them. Okay, so Manono can be good spirits or bad spirits. So there are two types of Manono. The bad spirits are actually one of the most common spirits regarding the Manono spirits, and also there are good spirits with it. So I'm gonna focus on the bad spirits right now, then I'm gonna jump to the good spirits of Manono and explain to you guys why this actually occurs. Okay, so them being dark spirits solely depends on how the child died. That is one thing I need you guys to understand. So if the child died through an abortion, there's a high chance that this child is actually going to be a very dark spirit. With them being a very dark spirit, there's a high chance they'll make your life a living hell. Okay, and when it comes in the dark form, it is determined to make your life a living hell. That is what I wrote. And it is determined to make your life a living hell. This is where, Lord, you'll dream of the child often. And when you dream of this particular child, this child is angry, this child is crying, this child is asking you why you killed them and stuff like that. Like, the dreams that you have of this particular child are not pleasant. They're very bad dreams where you see or you feel, okay, whatever child this is, or whatever spirit this is a very upset spirit. This is a very angry spirit. This is a spirit that is very pissed off with me and is willing to put my life in danger. Okay. Another thing that I noted down is that they can cause you to have countless miscarriages, okay, mostly for women. Like, let's say, for example, you're a woman and you have an abortion, and you find out that the child that you were pregnant with in the beginning was actually a spiritually gifted child who then turns to idlozi. like an ancestor, then what will happen is that this child actually cause you to have a lot of miscarriages, mainly because this child is not at peace. This child has not forgiven you for what you've done to them. This child has not found their way into the light. They have not found their way to the other ancestors, to unite with the family lineage or the ancestors in the lineage of the family and whatnot. So you'd find out as a woman, you'd find what you have a lot of miscarriages constantly. And if you don't have miscarriages, for both men and women, you'd find that you become infertile. This child can actually cause you to be infertile. Okay. And another thing that also happened in cases of a dark Manono spirit is that it can actually cause endless sicknesses for you. You'd actually be sick constantly. So remembering in one of my videos I talked about mahoma, which was a process that needs to be done, or rather a sickness that is caused by the death of a person in the family. My lord, I did actually emphasize a lot on the issue of children that died. These children, the parents did not go through the mahoma or cleansing process. This particular spirit, what it does is that it actually causes you to be sick. Like I said, you'll experience muscle aches, being bloated, headaches, like different diseases all together. Some diseases or some illnesses actually correspond with traditional gift signs in a sense, but in reality it's actually signs of the dead spirit actually attacking you because they're not able to find peace and you haven't done the necessary processes to help this person rest peacefully. Okay, so this spirit affects both the mother and the father. So don't, as a person, do not think, oh, this spirit is going to affect the mother alone. It doesn't. It affects both parents. Let's say, for example, the father is the reason why this child passed away. Then this child is most likely to attack the father more and more than it attacks the mother, because of the fact that get that thing out, you are the reason why I am not here today. Because remember, spirits know everything. Spirits know everything. Your deepest, darkest secrets, spirits know it. So even this particular spirit of this child is cautious enough to know why they passed away, who is the reason why they passed away. And most of the times, the person who caused their death or the person who instigated their passing is the one that is actually going to get the sharper end of the knife in their case. Okay, but as for the good Manono spirit, they are mostly caused, or rather these are children that mostly died from miscarriages, sicknesses, illnesses, or accidents. So their passing was natural. It was something natural. It wasn't something that was instigated by anybody. The parents did not cause their death. Meaning what this spirit has that peace, my passing was natural. So meaning this spirit does not have any reason to be angry or to fight anybody. So it becomes a very good spirit. So hence, when this child becomes an ancestor, they tend to guide, protect, and give messages to their parents. So most of the times with the people that get messages from this Manono spirits, just to emphasize it, it's usually people with spiritual gifts. Because understand that as a person with a spiritual gift, for example, I have a spiritual gift. One thing that I know is that I'd find out one of my children, when I actually have children, one of them might actually have spiritual gifts as well. If not one of my children, but one of my grandchildren will have spiritual gifts, because of the fact that is something that is in my bloodline, that is in my lineage. Okay, so in this case, the Manono spirit is good. They are there to actually help, protect, guide, and just give you messages as their parent. Okay, and most of the times when you're a spiritually gifted person, you'll get a lot of instructions and messages from this particular child. There are spirits that work hand in hand with other spirits such as Amandawi, Amanguni, Amanzuza, all those other spirits. So meaning what, the other spirits that are there, let's say for example, like I said, most of the people with Manono spirit, or that the Manono communicates with, as people who are already spiritually gifted. So in that case, you'd find this spirit works hand in hand with the spirits that you already have as a person. Let's say for example, you have Mundawe spirit, which is a water spirit. I think we spoke about it before. You have Mundawe spirit, and you'd find this child works hand in hand with the Mundawe spirit. Sometimes the Mundawe spirit can actually, as this child, or the spirit of this child, or this Manono spirit, to actually give you certain guidance or certain information or certain instructions and whatnot. So they coexist or work hand in hand with other spirits that are already there with you in your life. Okay, another thing that I wrote down is that, and given that this this is the spirit of a child. It is pure and holy with no ill intentions. And with this being said, this more you guys need to be very careful, because we all know what sometimes as healers you may practice really dark magic in a sense. I'm not judging this I'm not judging anyone, but okay, I'm low-key judging. But you have an Manono spirit, given the fact that this is actually a very good Manono spirit, and this spirit on its own, a child is pure. A child has no sin. A child is practically an angel, right? It's practically an angel. So meaning what the spirit that you have is practically an angel that is working with you. It has no ill intentions whatsoever. So most of the times it will not tolerate it if you are a person and you have this spirit, but you actually use your spiritual gift to harm other people. That is when this spirit may actually tend to neglect you or move away from you or leave you in a sense, because those are things that this spirit does not really allow. Ne? Another thing is this is one of the this spirit is peaceful, and healers with Manono spirits tend to be good with kids, or they attract kids a lot. So these are some of the characteristics. Even though I'm gonna jump into characteristics of people with Manono spirit, this is just one of the major characteristics. You as a healer will actually attract children a lot. And also another thing is that at times this child becomes a messenger from other ancestors that you have, giving you guidance and clarity on the path on the path that you have, or the journey that you need to take. But moving on to characteristics of people with Manono spirit, first of all, these people are soft and gentle and kind. These people are like children. A child is gentle, a child is soft. Okay, it's only life that actually makes a person, or growing up as a person is what makes you the way that you are. But initially when you are born as a very gentle, soft, kind soul on your own. Other things you learn throughout life when you grow up and whatnot. Number two, they are quite playful and childish. So people with Manono spirits are very childish, very playful, but an okay kind of childish. It doesn't mean that you should act childish in an annoying way and say, no, I have a Manono spirit, I will smack. I'm kidding. But yeah, people with Manono spirits are very playful and childish and very outgoing, and they can be very loud. Okay, they can be very loud. That is one thing that I've noticed about them. They are very loud people. So another thing is that kids love them a lot. So they attract children a lot. Like I said earlier, children just love them. They want to be with them, like they want to be close to them. A child will really want to play with this particular person with Manono spirit, and they are sensitive to everything. Okay, they are sensitive to a lot of things. I understand that people with spiritual gifts are actually empaths, but understand what a child is actually connected with the ancestral or the spiritual realm more when he or she is born. Naturally, they are very sensitive to a lot of things. They're sensitive to noise, they're sensitive to people's energies and whatnot. So that is something you as a person with an Manono spirit will actually develop in time. You'll become very sensitive in a very crazy manner, in a sense. And learn another thing, they can sense a witch or someone who uses dark magic from a mile away. Okay, so don't play around them if you're doing those kind of things. Because here's the thing about this. I'm sure you guys have noticed. Have you ever noticed a newborn child or a baby, in a sense, when a person comes to them and this person has very dark energy, or this person ushumshabuloi or witchcraft or stuff like that, the minute this person comes close to them or tries to carry this child will cry uncontrollably. This child will be losing their mind at that moment. They will not want this person near them. That's because children on their own, they're spiritual beings. Okay, regardless of whether this child has a spiritual gift or not, children are spiritual beings, so they are able to sense negative energy from a mile away. And hence, people who have a Manono spirit, they are able to sense negative spirit from a mile away. So meaning if you practice dark magic, you need to make sure that you don't come close to those people, because they will be able to tell that you practice dark magic whether or not they have consulted you or not. By just looking at you, they'll be able to tell those kind of things. Okay, how to appease the Manono spirit. So this is a very important thing, because remember that I spoke about the good Manono spirits and the bad Manono spirits. But regardless of whether the spirit is good or bad, you need to go through an appeasement process for them. This appeasement process includes the cleansings and whatnot. But this is what I wrote down. This spirit, for this spirit, first you need to cleanse yourself. You need to cleanse the spirit. It's a very important thing, because when a person passes away, the first thing that needs to be done traditionally is a cleansing process. This cleansing process cleanses the spirit of this person, so this person can be in light, so this person can actually go into the light, be with the positive ancestors and whatnot. So when you have a child, or let's say for example you have an abortion, a miscarriage, or your child passes away, you need to go through this cleansing to allow the spirit to actually be in a cleansed space, to allow the spirit to cross over in a sense, and also to detach the spirit from you. If let's say for example you're not spiritually gifted, so this child can actually rest peacefully. The cleansing process, it's very important. Okay, that's the first thing. And if the death of the child was due to an abortion, a ceremony will need to be done as well. Okay, in this ceremony, both parents are to slaughter an animal for it and partner to ask the spirit for forgiveness along with the ancestors. Okay, so if let's say for example, because most of the times it does occur that even good Manono spirits, like kids that died through miscarriages and accidents, when their ceremonies are done, they have to like have an animal slaughtered for them. Sometimes a chicken or a goat, depending on which state the spirit is in. So most of the times you find out the ones that pass away via an abortion, once the cleansing ceremony is done, the parents need to have a ceremony where they partner for this particular child. Okay, and when they partner for this particular child, one thing that they'll be doing in the process is asking this child for forgiveness. Okay, because when you ask this child for forgiveness, it brings this child in the light. The spirit will automatically be cleansed of the darkness that it is in, so this spirit can actually be a good spirit. So even if this spirit, you find out it comes to you and guides you and whatnot, it will not come to you with that intention, I want to make your life miserable. It will come with that intention, I want to help this person, I want to help my mother, or I want to help my father. So this ceremony is done by both parents. Let's say for example one party does this ceremony, the other doesn't. That means this party that has not done this ceremony for this child may still be affected negatively by the spirit of the child, while the one who has done what is needed to be done for the child is not affected badly by the child whatsoever. So that is how you appease the Manono spirit. And let's say for example you're a Sangoma or a person with a spiritual gift, and you're aware of the fact that you have an Manono spirit, or just you're a person in general and you have you speak with your ancestors and communicate with them. What you will do to actually appease them the most is have things like candy, sweets, snacks, put them there. Okay, that is actually one of the things that you put on your shrine now and then, just to appease and make them happy, because not all ancestors want whiskey, even though I prefer the ones that want whiskey, but not all of them want whiskey. So you'll have to actually have candies and whatnot for the Manono spirit. Anyways, that is it for us today. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I hope you guys found clarity on this video. And yeah, if maybe for example you lost a child, please do a cleansing, have a ceremony for this child, so this spirit does not affect you in any bad way in your life or in your future, or it doesn't affect any of your children or your next generation in a very bad way. But anyways, that is it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this session. Have a beautiful one. Bye bye.